My name is Rafael, you're watching Rock and Roll Garage, and today I'm going to show you 16 musicians from Texas that the ZZ Top vocalist and guitarist Billy Gibbons said are some of his favorites. But first, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave your comment. Well, Billy is obviously heavily influenced by the blues. He grew up in Texas, and he had the chance to see many legendary bluesmen playing the guitar. You name it, he had the chance to see it when he was a kid. And he was very influenced by also the kind of music that was being made in Texas at the time over the years. And he had the chance to meet a lot of players from the state. And in an interview with Matt Joyce in 2017, he was asked about his favorite Texas musicians who were still active. And today I'm going to show you who they are, and we're going to talk a little bit about them, okay? The first one he mentioned is Jimmy Vaughan. Jimmy Vaughan is the older brother of the late legendary guitarist Stevie Ray Vaughan, who tragically passed away in 1990 in a helicopter crash. And Jimmy kind of carries on that torch, although he also had a successful career with the Fabulous Thunderbirds and with a solo career too, but he's the Vaughan now carrying the torch as far as being an incredible guitar player. So he's the first one. The second one he mentioned is Mike Flanigan, and he's also known as the Drifter. And Mike is known as the master, and it is the master of the Hammond B3 organ, but he's also a singer, songwriter, and a Grammy-nominated producer. And he collaborated with names like Jimmy Vaughan, that I just mentioned, and Billy Gibbons, and besides many others. His first solo album was The Drifter, released in 2015. And he was even ZZ Top's opening acts on some dates over the years. The next one he mentioned is Van Wilkes. Now, Van was born in Galveston, Texas. They were all born in Texas. And he was heavily influenced by the British invasion, which were in the 60s. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, The Who, all those bands from the 60s. That's what the British invasion was, when those British bands came to the United States and, really became even more famous in the USA. And Van Wilkes, in the 70s, he moved to Austin, Texas, and played a lot there with a band called Fools. It was his band. And during his career, he released 6 solo albums, and also already toured as the opening act, not only for ZZ Top, but bands like Aerosmith, Heart, Van Halen, and Journey. That's cool, really cool. The next one he mentioned is Ruby Jane Smith. She was born in Dallas, Texas in 1994. She plays fiddle and is also a singer and songwriter of traditional bluegrass and America, those music genres. She's another interesting fact about her is that she was the youngest fiddler to be invited to play the Grand Ole Prix, and she already played with famous artists like Willie Nelson, Drake Bell, that actor, that's right, and Ray Benson. The next one that he mentioned is also a very famous guitarist who was also born in Texas, Eric Johnson. You probably know him for the hit Cliffs of Dover. And he was born in Austin, Texas. He started his career in 1969, but he would only achieve fame in the 80s. Although he was releasing albums since the late 70s. And curiously, 1969, when he started his career, it was when ZZ Top was formed, when that power trio was formed. And he only released his first solo album in 1986, but he really became famous for the album Via Musicom in 1990, which had the smash hit Cliffs of Dover. The next one he mentioned it is Chris Leighton. Chris was born in Mathis, Texas back in 1955, and he started his career as a drummer in 1978. And he first achieved fame for as being a member of Double Trouble, the band, the Stevie Ray Vaughan band. He was the drummer for that group. And with his ex-bandmate, the bassist Tommy Shannon, he formed a few supergroups since Stevie's passing. They were called Archangels, Storyville, and Grady. And nowadays, he is the drummer for Kenny Wayne Shepherd Band. The next one, Joe Ely. Joe was born in Amarillo, Texas in 1947. He's a singer-songwriter, guitarist, and he's considered one of the most important artists from the Texas progressive country scene in the 80s and 70s. And during his career, he released already 16 studio albums and performed with bands like The Clash and Bruce Springsteen. That's really cool. The next one he mentioned it, now this one is more famous nowadays, Gary Clark Jr. Gary Clark Jr. was born in Austin, Texas in 1984 when ZZ Top, already had released their most, probably some of their most, one of their greatest albums. He started his career in 1986 at the age of 12, can you believe it? And he released his debut album in 2001. But he really became famous around 2014 when he won the Grammy Award for Best Traditional R&B Performance for the song Please Come Home. In 2020, he won the Grammy Award, but this time for Best Rock Song, and Best Rock Performance, which was for the song called This Land. Now, probably the most famous artist in this list, the incredible Willie Nelson. Willie, he was born in Abbott, Texas in 1933. He's more than 90, and he's still touring. He's still playing now in 2024. And what an incredible musicians. And, it's just horrifying the amount of albums he released during his career. 102 albums, studio albums. We're not talking about live albums and everything else. Studio albums, 102. That's, there's nothing else I can say how influential this man is. The next one, he mentioned it, George Rains. Now, George, he's the drummer. He's a drummer, and he was born in Fort Worth, Texas, and became known for backing up the guitarist and singer Jimmy Vaughan, that we mentioned, the older brother of Stevie Ray Vaughan, since 1993. He also was the house drummer at Anton's Blues Club for a decade, and he played already with many incredible blues players during his career. The next one he mentioned it was Rosie Flores, a Texan singer, guitarist, and songwriter. She was born in San Antonio back in 1950 and started her career in 1968 at about the age of 18. She resides in Austin nowadays, and the curious thing is that August 31 was declared Rosie Flores Day by the Austin City Council in 2006. And her music is described as a mix of alternative country and rockabilly. And until now, she released 13 studio albums. The next one, he mentioned it, Stephen Barber. Now, Stephen is a composer and arranger. He was born in Texas, Abilene, Texas. And during his career, he worked with many amazing musicians. Some of them were David Byrne, the Talking Heads vocalist, Keith Richards, the Rolling Stones guitarist, T-Bone Burnett, another really famous and incredible American musician, Bonnie Raitt, Michael Stipe from R.E.M., and John Legend, one of the most famous singers from these past decades, for sure. The next one he mentioned it was Alejandro Escovez, and Alejandro was born in San Antonio, Texas in 1951. He started as a punk musician, And then he changed his style, and this is what happened. He started as a member of the San Francisco band The Nuns, the punk band, and then moved to New York and joined Judy Nyland, another punk band. It was in the 80s that he moved to Austin and adopted a roots rock alternative country style, and he formed a band called Rank and File, then starting True Believers with his brother Javier. The next one that he mentioned, Doyle Bramhall II. Doyle Bramhall II is the son of, he was born in Dallas, Texas in 1968, and he's the son of the late legendary blues drummer Doyle Bramhall. Doyle's son is known for he played with famous musicians like Eric Clapton and the Pink Floyd bassist, main songwriter, singer Roger Waters. He also played with Roger. And the next one is Lou Ann Barton. The singer Lou Ann Barton was born in Fort Worth, Texas in 1954. And curiously, she was the singer in the first band that Stevie Ray Vaughan was part of. He called Triple Threat Review, the band, which was later renamed to Double Trouble. And she started her solo career in 1982. The final one that he mentioned was Flaco Jimenez. Now, Flaco is a singer, songwriter, and accordionist. He was born in San Antonio, Texas in 1939, the second oldest one from the list, because Willie Nelson is older than him. He started his career at an early age in 1946, and is best known for playing a style called norteño, Tex-Mex, and Tejano music. Besides being a solo artist, he was also a member of bands like Texas Tornadoes and Los Super 7. And he was also, he gained, he had a lot of prizes during his career: Grammy, Americana Music Awards, and Tejano Music Awards. And it's quite interesting because I'm not from the United States, I'm from Brazil. So I'm quite used to the Latin culture, although here in Brazil we speak Portuguese, not Spanish like all the rest of Central America, South America, and Mexico. But we're quite similar, although we don't speak the same language. I'm not good at Spanish. I'm better, speaking English, as you can see. But I think, and I have some notion about the two cultures, the Latin culture and the North American culture, especially the one from the United States, which is quite strong because of all the movies and the music, all the famous things that were spread all around the world. And I think it's quite interesting to see a list like this because you can see how much the states in the United States, the states that are there right beside Mexico, how much they're influenced by, you can see the two cultures blending and creating something really great, something new. And that happened with ZZ Top. There are some songs by ZZ Top like Mescalero, which Billy sings in Spanish. It's quite interesting to see a band doing that, and many ZZ Top's albums names are in Spanish. So it's quite interesting to see how much Texas is also influenced by Mexico, for example. And that's it. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to go to the description, visit the article we wrote about it, because you can go and listen to these artists if you want to, and read much more about them. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and leave your comment. Thank you for watching, and I see you later.